want to show you how to use the two training balls that come with the striking line aiming set. The clock cue ball and the blue dot object ball, along with the short track and the striking line trainer template. And on the template itself, I want to show you how to use the red lines, is what we call the striking lines. I want to show you how to use them. I want to first start out by showing you how to find the contact point on the object ball. To do so, you simply come back to the center of the corner pocket or the pocket that you're shooting into and bring an imaginary line out through the back of the object ball, out the front of the object ball, right where that blue dot is at. Now you want that blue dot to be right on the equator. You don't want it to be up high, or you don't want it to be down low. You want it to be right on the equator of that object ball, just like that. This is the way I want you to set this ball up for every shot in group 2 shots. There's 2 contact points on every shot. There's the one on the object ball, right here, and it comes back to where the cue ball, this is where we're going to shoot from, to the cue ball, and then there's one on the cue ball. So this red line represents the striking line, and that's the contact point line. The dead center line and the striking line are only on the same line on straight in shots. As you can see, when we go over 15 degrees, here's the dead center line, and now the striking line has moved from, we're going to call this 0 degrees, so this would be 0 degrees, all the way over to 15 degrees. So now your contact point is here on the cue ball versus where it was here on the straight in shot. So as you move over, the striking line starts to move too. And we'll go down to the 1 o'clock shot and show you the same thing. Here's the 1 o'clock shot, so you can see that this is the 0 degree line, the dead center line, and now we're over 30 degrees. So right there is the contact point. That part of this cue ball, because this is the cue ball spot, has to contact the blue dot on that object ball. This is the 130 shot. So you've got the dead center line, which is 0 degrees. Over to here, this is 45 degrees off of center now. It's the 130 shot. This part of this ball here has to hit the blue dot on the object ball. This is the 2 o'clock shot. This is the 60 degree angle shot. So from 0 degrees to here is 60 degrees. This is the 2 o'clock shot. And the last one here, this is 0 degrees all the way over to here is 75 degrees. So this part of the cue ball has to strike the blue dot of the object ball. So you can see how it moves from straight in all the way over to 230. And you can see each one of these lines point at that blue dot as you stand behind the shot. Each one of the red lines, the striking lines, point at that blue dot of the object ball. So when we're back to straight in, which is 0 degrees. So now I want to show you how it's going to tie in to the clock cue ball. I'm going to put this track on the 0 degrees first here on the straight in shot. Just like so. So as we move 15 degrees over, this is 12 o'clock, this is 12:30, the next one's 1 o'clock, and the next one's 1:30, 2 o'clock, and 2:30. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots to the right. What I want to show you is the cue ball clock. And the first shot I want to show you is the spot is the 12 o'clock spot. You can see 12 o'clock here on this cue ball. That's the straight in shot. That is what you're going to be lining up with the 12 o'clock shot. That's going to be the contact point. You're going to move 15 degrees over on the template, and we're going to go one line over, which is going to be the 12:30 shot. One more line over would be the 1 o'clock shot. That's 30 degrees. The next line is the 1:30, 2 o'clock, and 2:30. That's all the way over to the 75 degree shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up on the template. And you can now see that that ball is lined up perfect into the corner pocket with the object ball, the cue ball is. But what you can't see is the contact point over here on this side, because you cannot see that side of the contact point. It's on the equator. So I'm going to go over here and show you that contact point from this direction. So now you can see the dead center line and the striking line are one and the same. You can see that it's pointing directly at the 12 o'clock spot. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this back behind the shot. Since we can't see the contact point from from standing behind the shot, we simply take the cue ball and move it up to the top of the ball. We move that clock up to the top of the ball. So now you can see the contact point. We've just taken the contact point from here and moved it up to the top of the ball. So now you standing behind the shot, you bring the blue dot back through that spot, and that's the striking line. That's how you see the striking line on these shots. So let me move it over to the 12:30 shot. Whenever you're setting this clock, cue ball clock up, you're going to set the 12 o'clock on the dead center line every single time. Now standing behind the shot, you can see the dead center line, 12 o'clock, is lined up perfectly with the dead center line on the track. And now you can see the 12:30 striking line is lined up perfectly with the red dash on the cue ball. Okay, so standing behind, this is what it's going to look like. Right there. So that 12:30 mark has to be what makes contact. This part right here is just simply moved from in front of the cue ball to the top of the cue ball. So I'll set up one more angle. Always put the 12 o'clock on the dead center line. This is the 1 o'clock shot. You can see those two lines are matched up perfectly with the dead center line, the 12 o'clock, and the 1 o'clock striking line. Again, we've just taken the contact point here and moved it up to the top of the ball right there, so that you can see it when you're standing behind the shot. So that is the basis of how to use the blue dot object ball with the cue ball clock, the lines on the table, and the dead center line. You're always going to want to have that 12 o'clock on that dead center line every time you put this on the track when you're using the cue ball clock.